Hey everyone, as you can see, I've had way too much coffee this morning, but I wanted to remind you that if you like our videos on RVing, if you like our videos on hiking or camping, please be sure to follow Over the Hill Hikers on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and I got to go get some more coffee. So let me give you a brief synopsis of what happened. This is the original RV kitchen faucet. There is a single hex nut that holds this spout onto what I come to find out is a nylon bushing inside. And I bumped this while loading the trailer and it broke the nylon bushing inside. You can see that it's broken in at an angle. So when I took this nut off and I pulled the spout off, very interesting how simply made these are. This is just a tube, hollow aluminum tube with the nozzle at the end. This has a nylon mechanism, and this is what broke right here. You can see it. You can see it moving. And it doesn't appear to be a replaceable cartridge or anything like that. There's no way to really take apart the assembly. There's no nuts, screws. It looks like it's all pressed together. And so, by all appearances, to me, it looks like this cannot be repaired. So I removed the handle to investigate. There's the handle mechanism there. And came to the conclusion that this likely cannot be repaired. So on this unit here, this threaded piece that goes through the sink, there is it screws on, and it's got a large plastic handle assembly to help you reach underneath and screw it on. And as you can see, when I put the new one in and tightened it down, that broke. So that was part of this original unit. This is the sleeve or bushing that came with the faucet that I replaced, and I opted not to use it in favor of using this, which didn't quite work out, but I was able to get it on and get it tight, so it should be good to go. So let me go through the steps that I went through to replace this faucet. In my 25-foot Rockwood Mini Lite 2509S model year 2022. So this is the faucet I replaced the factory faucet with. It is a Tucker pull-down kitchen faucet. I got it at Lowe's, and it is the brand Project Source, which is their store brand builder's quality type stuff. It was about 120 bucks. You can probably buy this exact same faucet on Amazon under a different name for less, but I had less than 24 hours to do this repair, so I had to take what I could get. So the old faucet's been removed, and we have a hole that goes down into the space underneath where the cabinets are, and you'll see the two PEX lines, and up there is the hole is right up in there, and I'm going to drop the new faucet down in here and get it installed. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. So we found this Project Source faucet, regular residential faucet at Lowe's for about 120 bucks. And I checked out all the threads and fittings, and it should plug and play right into that hole. So the first thing we're going to do is take this unit out. This is an upgrade because it's got the pull down spigot. And so if you're going to make lemonade out of lemons, you might as well upgrade a little bit. So we did. So we're going to drop it into this hole now. So the squirt line goes in first, and then we'll work in the PEX connections. And you can see they pretty much drop right in. So this will be an easy swap out. Next, I'm going to remove this metal retaining clip, which is what comes with the residential faucet. The RV nut that does the same job is, I'm going to use that instead. So I'm going to go ahead and take this sleeve off. That's done pretty easily. Just unscrew it. And it is now off. Now we're going to put the faucet back into the hole in the RV countertop. Drop in the, I call it the sprinkler line. And then we're going to drop in the connections Everything should drop right into place, nice and easy. I'm going to install it just like that. Of course, the faucet will be over here like this. So that is our replacement. Next, we're going to crawl under the cabinet and install the sleeve and screw this thing down tight before we make all the water connections. And as you can see, there's a mess of wires in here, and I'm going to tape them or strap them down a bit so that they're not dangling all over the place, so that when you pull the little rinse head out and pull this black hose up and down through the faucet assembly, that it doesn't get tangled in any wires. So I'll start by taking our sleeve and just putting it up the rinse hose assembly with the threads here, and then I'll work it up around the water connection and sprinkler hose connections and tighten it down. So you can see that I have the sleeve just lightly threaded on. A word of advice, get it threaded on to the faucet before you install all of this, to make sure that all your connections will slide through that. So before you put this thing in, make sure you fit the sleeve and make sure it lines up straight with the threads, because there are multiple copper connections coming out of that assembly. And I did that before I put this in and found that I had to kind of reposition a couple of the copper stubs coming out to make sure that that RV sleeve would slide onto this residential thread very easily. So one of the most difficult things about RV repair and any repair under a sink is needing a second pair of hands. So my beautiful wife's going to come out and hold this fixture in place while I spin on that sleeve. This is what it looks like with the hot, the cold, and the faucet hose connected. Now I'm going to reconnect the vent hose that I disconnected to make some room. That looks like this. Then I'll re-tape the duct. I snapped in the air deflector and it's done. Check everything in here on the ductwork, looks good. Weight is installed. Connections are made. Now we'll test for leaks. Turn on the water pump. Let it pressurize the system. Good to go. I'm not seeing any signs of leakage from the PEX. Alright, so now we're testing out the water. Looking pretty good. I can do everything I need to do. And let's check our system for leaks. I still see no leaks. So I think we are good to go. So that's how you put a brand new faucet into your 2022 Rockwood Mini Lite 2509S. Now we'll put the drawers back in. So just a couple of other things I wanted to point out that I didn't capture on video. One was when you saw under the sink, you saw how close the plumbing was to the radio unit. And so I picked up some of those thin sheet rollout cutting boards. They're like a thin plastic, very durable plastic. And I adhered them to the side of that radio so that it created a splash guard in case there was ever a leak. It wouldn't directly leak water into the radio. And I also put half of one behind the fixtures where the electrical was, just to deflect any water away from any electrical panels that are down there as well. That's not done as part of the stock plumbing, but it was something that I wanted to add just as an extra safety measure. So I hope you found this video useful, and happy trails out there on the roads.